Yo, what's going on YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte. And guys, we are on a fucking roll today. And we're taking a look at the Detroit Red Wings. Red Wings hockey is back, ladies and gentlemen. And we are taking a look at the Red Wings today. So let's get right into it. So the Detroit Red Wings, right now, don't look now, but the Red Wings this season, through 26 games, are 13, 10, and 3. That's 29 points. That's fourth best in the Atlantic Division. Now, you look at some teams that they're ahead of right now. Okay, they're ahead of the Boston Bruins. And then there's the other teams in the division, which nobody really cares about because they're kind of far back. But right now, you could consider the Detroit Red Wings one of the 5 teams that is in the mix for the playoffs right now in the Atlantic Division. Right now, they currently sit 7 points back of third place. That shows you the separation between them and, the team ahead of them. They're also 4 points ahead of the Bruins. So they're kind of in their own category. They currently sit in the second wild card spot. Is this sustainable for the rest of this season? Because we see a lot of times when you have young guys come in, Brock Besser, Elias Pettersson, they come in, they have a great first season, even a first half of a first season, and then things dry up. Well, they're hoping that doesn't happen here. But you can't deny the success right now of 2 players in particular. Now, obviously, I'm going to give credit here to Tyler Bertuzzi. I think he had 5 goals in the first game of the season. He had a really great start to the year. And then he went down injured, and the question was who's going to step up. Well, doesn't really seem to matter because Moritz Cider right now is a freak for the Detroit Red Wings. And the fact he's a defenseman, we don't see defensemen develop quite as quickly as Moritz Cider has. And there was some questions if maybe he should have been there the last 2 years in Detroit. Steve Yzerman has handled him really well. He's allowed him to develop overseas and get to his game. He played in Grand Rapids during the 2021 season. And now Moritz Cider is a absolute monster. And we're seeing it right now. He scored his first NHL goal, an overtime winner. And he kind of hasn't looked back since then. Now, if you guys don't remember, Moritz Cider, at the time when he was selected 6th overall in 2019, I remember in the stadium at the draft, there was a lot of, shock. Moritz Cider? Who is this guy? Everybody expected the Red Wings to go after somebody else. But the 20-year-old defenseman in his first NHL season right now, he has 3 goals, 14 assists. He's got 17 points in his first 25 NHL games. Cider was, like I said, the 2019 6th overall pick and has just been really good for the Red Wings. You look at his ice time per night. He's playing around 22, 23 minutes per night. And then in a game last week, he played the Islanders. Actually, no, that was their last game. Their last game against the Islanders, he played over 27 minutes. 27 in his first season, his freshman season in the NHL. Moritz Cider has been incredible and is definitely a guy that is going to be on people's radar at this point in the year in terms of potentially Calder Trophy as Rookie of the Year. So there's Moritz Cider. Now, we also have to take a look at Lucas Raymond. Lucas Raymond has also been on a tear to start his NHL campaign. And this was a guy, when you look at that draft again, Lucas Raymond is looking like the best player in that draft right now. And this was a guy when Detroit was upset that they weren't drafting higher than where they drafted. And let's take a look here. I'm trying to find that draft. I think it was the 2020 NHL draft. But the Red Wings hit an absolute home run, bringing him in. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. Yep, this is the draft. All right, so you look at this draft, right? 2020 NHL draft. The Rangers, first overall, Alexis Lafreniere. Second overall, Quentin Byfield. Unfortunately, his season will probably be cut short here because of an injury. Tim Stuchla, I think there's a lot of potential with him still in Ottawa. He's not on a very good team. He hasn't been able to finish his opportunities, and I'm not really sure they know where to put him. Is he a center? Is he a winger? There's a lot of unknowns with him still. And then fourth overall, Lucas Raymond. Lucas Raymond, right now, okay, looking at his points, through 25 games, Lucas Raymond has 10 goals. So he's basically a goal every other game. Rookie season, mind you. He's also got 12 assists. That is 22 points in 25 games. He is almost a point per game player through his first quarter of an NHL career. I'm not even talking in just a season. This is his first NHL season. And Lucas Raymond has been so good. Lights out for the Red Wings. And he actually leads the team in points right now. And I'm going to do this right now. And I know people hate when I do this. But let's take a look at the guys that were drafted ahead of him right now. We're going to do this. So in 80 games, Alexis Lafreniere has 27 points. So basically in a full NHL season, Lucas Raymond has more points than Alexis Lafreniere. So just to put that in perspective there for my Wings fans. Quentin Byfield, now again, he's been injured. But for Quentin Byfield, he's only played 6 NHL games. He's actually gotten a point. He's not scored an NHL goal, but he has a point in 6 games. So still looking pretty good. Now these were guys that were drafted ahead of Lucas Raymond, mind you. And then Tim Stuchla, who this is his second season in the NHL, and he has 41 points in 77 games. So funny enough, it's the 3rd and 4th overall pick right now, playing better than the 1st and 2nd overall pick in that draft. Kind of interesting how that plays out. Now again, these guys are only 20 years old. Let's do this again when they're 30 years old, and we'll get a better idea. Because I think there's still guys on this list that still have potential to play. You look at who was just drafted after Lucas Raymond. You have the 2nd pick for Ottawa, right? It was Jake Sanderson. Then you have Jamie Drysdale, Alexander Holtz, and a couple of guys down the list here. Anton Lundell was a good draft pick. I'm going to have to do a whole video going over that draft class because that was a really good draft, even the Quinn Hughes draft. But today's about the Red Wings. Let's get back on the Red Wings. So give a little pumping of the blood there for my Red Wings fans. That is just to show you how good Lucas Raymond has been in his first season. Now you look at special teams. They're not anything special this season with Jeff Blashill. Their power play, 15.9%. That's 24th best in the NHL. That's actually the lower half of the NHL standings. And the penalty kill is actually worse. Their penalty kill is only at 74.7%. That's 26th in the NHL, which is 6th worst in the NHL. And they have the 8th worst power play. So that means they're getting all of this done 5-on-5 hockey. Now, that could end up coming back to bite them because I've seen this as an Islander fan where there are certain games where a team is going to be more chippy, more aggressive with the opponent, specifically the Islanders, because the Islanders could not play 4-on-4 hockey, 5-on-4 hockey, whether they had the power play or not, it made no difference. The Islanders were terrible on their power play, even this season. Look how terrible they are right now. They're giving up more shorthanded goals than scoring power play goals at this point, which is just... And then you look at 2021, they gave up 1 shorthanded goal, and that was the clinching goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Final. So you see how things kind of change so quickly, but I think for the Red Wings, teams may start to take advantage of especially these younger players like Lucas Raymond and Moritz Cider. They might bump them around a little bit. They might get in their face and try and get them off their game, because the problem is once you have enough video of the young players, whether it's goaltending, whether it's just players in general, it is so hard to play. And that's why we always say there's always that sophomore slump. That is not always a thing, but I would say more times than not, I would say 80 out of 100 times, you're probably going to have a sophomore slump. And like I said, it's because teams key in on that player. And we've seen that with plenty of players around the NHL. Matt Barzal for the Islanders, Elias Pettersson for the Vancouver Canucks, Brock Besser for the Canucks. Obviously, he's had injuries. Even Joel Farabee with the Flyers is one of our more recent examples from last year to this year. He's still playing well, but he was just going off the rails completely last year. He was really unstoppable, and we've seen this with other guys as well. So Lucas Raymond, this is really nice. The fact that he can have some confidence, a stable, showing that, all right, there is future for me in the NHL. There's a future where I'm successful. And I think it's really good for the Red Wings fans that they're finally starting, they've been sold hope throughout the Yzerman, the Yzer plan. But now they're finally getting on the ice, concrete productivity. And I think that goes a long way for this team. So whether they make the playoffs or not, I think Red Wing fans want to think they're a playoff team this year. I think they're still a year away because, again, you're relying on these young guys so much. Are they going to be able to do it for a full NHL season? And that's where it's easier said than done. So, again, give credit where it's due, obviously, to Steve Yzerman for drafting him at 4, as well as Jeff Blashill. He's taken a lot of heat in his time in Detroit. But this is really the season for Jeff Blashill. If things don't get going for him this year, that's where there's a problem. But the fact that he's getting something out of these young guys, actually getting a lot out of these young guys, it's maybe a testament to what Jeff Blashill can actually do as a head coach. We're finally seeing that come back from the team since it was rebuilt from the ground up by Steve Yzerman. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think of the Detroit Red Wings this season? What do you think of this crazy run from Lucas Raymond? And more Cider for that matter too, because he's been very close to him in terms of a lot of stats, and he's a defenseman. So definitely something to keep an eye on throughout the rest of the year. And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, and more videos just like this one, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. And I will see you again later.